Greg and Coy are going to catch up on 3 trailers today. Before you skip ahead on them chapters, there's something I want to tell you guys. As you all know, we've been having some real copyright claims. We have 2 strikes right now. We just got one today as of filming this for one of the Obsession uploads. So if we get one more, we're in trouble. But with that in mind, we're going to play a little risk here. In a few hours from now, Greg and John have their reaction for Obsession going up. There's a reason why we're putting it out in the afternoon on a Friday. That's just for your ears only. Anyway.
I like the idea the Universal person's like watching this. They're like, yeah. Won't leave the office on time today. Gotta wait for those fools.
So please watch it as soon as you can before when it'll inevitably happen, probably on Monday or Tuesdays.
You got 48 hours.
You got 48 hours to enjoy it. We'll be releasing a few hours from now. Anyway, you can hop around the video chapters here. We're going to watch Godzilla Minus Zero, this 30-second teaser, the official trailer for Dune Part 3. And Coy is a huge Robert Eggers fan, and I've been really looking forward to this movie as well, but neither one of us have seen the Werewolf
I've
trailer.
avoided it, and now we get to use that.
You ready, Coy?
I'm so excited.
Which one? Godzilla Minus Zero. It's a short one. It's a shorty.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Godzilla は
2 years.
核攻撃にも耐えるそうですな。
それは人間のやっていいことの範疇超えてる。あんた自分が一体何してるのか分かってんのかよ。
Wow. Eerie. Money shot.
What a bold 30-second statement. That just came out swinging with words.
It seems like they're dealing with a nuclear threat with the level of Godzilla, so they're building their own nuclear weapon to try to take down Godzilla, or they're doing that thing where, like, we need a... That's usually if there's, like, a zombie horror, like, we need to nuke this entire town or some shit, like when there's an infection.
Well, we've used nukes on Godzilla before.
Yeah, but it seems like by building this nuke, it's going to...
They've summoned... Well, also, it's interesting that Godzilla comes up in times of, like, strife and turmoil, and it seems like they're putting another layer on the human element of it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I got out of those few seconds.
Did you see the few seconds of the other few seconds they released, like, a couple months ago?
At CinemaCon.
Okay.
Yes. And that was awesome because it was like establishing where it is. Is that the few seconds you're talking about?
I don't know. They've been releasing few second chunks and like random chunks.
Getting that Quibi experience. No, I was talking about, I mean, I guess it's not a spoiler for a trailer, but the Statue of Liberty in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, that was
establishing
it's
in New York. Yeah, a few other seconds establishing where it is. I'm super intrigued because, Takashi Yamazaki has such a vision for Godzilla, and he's also doing stuff with like mech, and he's building out all this world, but to bring it to New York is like not what I expected even from that footage. So these two sets of seconds are very different.
Oh, maybe in some way it's stirring up like a potential war between.
That's what I'm thinking. If we see both countries represented.
Oh, and it's playing on the fact that like Japan and America were once involved in war.
1949. You've got some xenophobia. You've got some the Statue of Liberty juxtaposing the nukes in Japan. Like that's a lot.
Well, I haven't only seen the movie one time, but wasn't it like post World War II? Like that was part of the storyline.
Yes,
I believe so. It was like I think that's the start of that
after.
Character.
Yeah,
that he was like
he left.
He was a shame
deserter,
soldier. Yeah, that's right. So maybe it's like bringing that element back up, but either I'm just kind of, it feels like it's going like a lot bigger, and I just hope it doesn't go like too pulpy or something like that.
He did so much with so little. I'm curious if it's like scaling up is the direction, or if it's like what can he do with, like I think it was a few $1 million. Like what would he do with like 50? Like you know what I mean? He did so much because he's the visual effects lead, he's the director, he's the writer. Like Takashi Yamazaki's everything. Dude. It's my favorite Godzilla movie, the first one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's pretty incredible.
It won the Oscar after all those years.
The only thing I thought was weird was when he punched that guy.
Well, I think that's an establishment of violence summons Godzilla.
Yeah, but when he punched him, it was just a funny punch.
Oh, the sound.
I just watched The Furious yesterday.
Very different punches when it's not Godzilla.
So now I'm going to judge intense martial arts choreography
against
this
a Godzilla
who's
film.
Definitely not a martial artist. Punching this one scientist guy.
Neither of them were intended to be a good dramatic punch.
Anyway, it's a good little tease. Good little tease.
Excited.
You ready? Which one do we do next? Dune or Werewolf? Your pick, Coy.
I'm going to say we save Dune for last.
Oh, God.
That smile already. Oh, wow. Cool. What was the shot of?
Awesome. Oh, wow.
Child.
They got Timothée Chalamet to play the younger version of him.
Do not dread darkness. Embrace it.
This looks awesome.
What the fuck?
This looks so cool. I love the religious horror element he's bringing in.
His eyes like muted out. What?
This is going to be a defining role
I've
for him.
heard of a raving beast
He's earned it.
that ravish his country.
I love that he just has a crew of actors like the old school touring theaters.
From his cursedness.
Dude. Dude.
Thy soul is cursed. Thy kin are cursed.
He's creating his own little universal monster verse.
I love it. He's earned it.
Thy world
Oh, man.
is cursed.
Whoa. The teeth, the eyes, the subtle. Oh.
Yeah. That's going to be career defining for Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I feel like Robert Eggers just comes out and redefines every corner of what he's making. Like Nosferatu, to me, really made vampires what they felt like when I was a kid. And The Witch was so Salem and all the spookiness of living in Massachusetts. And then this,
Yeah.
like, holy shit, dude.
This looks like the accumulation of a lot of Robert Eggers' material, all comprised of, like, you got elements. A lot of times, I haven't seen The Northman, but every little bit I've seen The Northman. That's the only one I haven't seen
It's
yet.
the least like the rest.
That's what I hear. But from the little bits I know, and of course, like the popularity he has with things like The Witch and Nosferatu, now doing this, it's all in the Lighthouse, of course, embracing more of that black and white. The accumulation of all of it just seems to be coming full circle of everything he's gathered over the years, and I'm a big fan. I love what he's going for here because he's kind of creating his own little universal monsterverse, and as someone who liked the original Chaney version of the Werewolf in the many, like, there's been a billion of those movies. I haven't seen every single one of them. It's just like so cool to see like the religious horror element because he's so good at getting like the culture surrounding the monster as well. It's not just the monster and the creature. He's really good at seeing like how a town is affected, which makes the Lighthouse a unique experience. It's just like two isolated people. But this one is back to all the things I love that he does, where you're watching like the cursed environment and the weird mystery of townsfolk, dude. It looks cool.
I have a weird thing to say because we only saw 2 minutes of it, but that looks like when you're watching a really cool horror movie and they make one section especially cool.
Yeah.
But as a movie, like, I know we only saw a section because we only saw 2 minutes, but when I think of like Rob Zombie movies or like 70s horror films that like have a budget they use for like one sequence or like any of those things that are throwback to the 20s, it looks like that the movie. And I'm really excited for the culmination of, as you're saying, his career, but also what we think of those movies as to get a full feature. Because I feel like we only reference them in like vignettes. We only give them like a few beats. That looks like we're going to get 2+ hours of just like the horrors of the nightmares of film stock.
I feel like
Textures.
fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson could be
he deserved, dude. How many times has he almost broken out? Like, I feel like he's the most successful almost actor.
Well, that's my point. What I feel like what Scorsese did for DiCaprio's career, I feel like that's what Eggers is doing for him, because he was the only one in Nosferatu where I'm like, man, he's really committed. He's doing on all aspects. I think he's doing a pretty good job. Yet he's the only one I'm aware of his acting. For some reason.
It's interesting. I have that with The Fall Guy, where like I liked him in The Fall Guy, but I was definitely like, I think he's in a slightly different movie.
But it's not always the case. With
No.
There's plenty of movies where he's like,
he's
brilliant.
somehow the best part of Kraven, which isn't saying a lot, but there are moments in Kraven where like the acting is so good, you're like, but why Kraven?
Yeah,
like
he came into the scene with Kick-Ass was great. Fucking
Oh my God.
Bullet Train, I think he's probably the best performer in that movie. So I really, really like him in a lot of stuff. But there's sometimes where it's like, it just seems like and I had that with DiCaprio until he started really working with
The
Scorsese.
Departed,
It was
like,
The Departed that changed it. 'cause
The
it-
montage of him doing
Yeah.
the prison
Yeah.
dips is literally seeing him become the actor
Yeah.
we have today. Like you visually see his face change.
Yeah.
And I feel like Aaron Taylor Johnson, when I say like almost an actor, that's not dismissing all of his career. I'm saying like
20 years
actor.
later.
Oh,
my God, he's brilliant. He's
so
brilliant
good
at
in
that. Yeah.
But I'm saying like he should be A-list, and it's like he's stuck at A-minus list.
Yeah.
And I want the dude to get that.
That's what I mean. It's like the
He's shredded. He's talented. He's smart. He picks good roles.
He's got versatility too. Like Scorsese did, it was Gangs of New York,
Yeah.
and Aviator, and it was always like he's almost there. Then The Departed, and then on, he's been like fucking stellar.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like this role is going to do for him. Like
I hope so.
It looks like this will be the career defining. Like, oh my God.
And he's surrounded by so much talent. Like this
Yeah.
cast, I mentioned
Willem
it during
Dafoe,
it, but
man.
like
Yeah.
he like hires a troupe. Like Robert Eggers is like, I would like to get my regulars back, and I
Yeah.
love that they all fit the different worlds so well.
Yeah. Oh, I love
This
the
looks
I love the
sick.
whole vibe. I love the versatility of the film language, and it seems to. It's like I like the spookiness of the visuals of Nosferatu, but there's something that didn't fully like do it for me the way it did for like most people. I feel
You didn't? What'd you overall?
I was just a little detached with it. I watched it in
Really?
the theaters too. I was like, I had a really great experience, and I
Huh.
thought it was like a visually cool film. And I love the Lily Rose. I love Nicholas Hoult. There's like everything about it was like, this is all great. Yet I'm just kind of detached from this experience for some reason.
Interesting. Okay.
And I've seen the original Nosferatu. You know what it is? It's the Dracula story. I've never been a big fan of it. I've seen so many versions of it, and I've just never been a fan of that story.
It feels rote, especially if you're watching
Yeah,
it. Like
and it's probably the best version I've
Oh,
seen.
I think it is the best
Yeah.
version. But when you've seen 10 versions,
Yeah, and at a certain point, I'm like, I just don't find this story particularly interesting. But but in terms of like the visual language here, all of it is so like it's an obvious word. It's unsettling. It's very unsettling. But there's such a variety of it.
I will say I'm very excited to see that film in a theater because, and no disrespect to internet, digitizing shit makes it so there was a lot of artifacting.
Yeah,
Like the movie's so dark that you see. So this is why I'm saying disrespect to internet, because that's the merit of going to the theater. That's the merit of not watching stuff at home, is you can't translate projecting. And I know it's a digital film in theater, but like it's engineered so you get the projection to be the right hue, the right like format. All the stuff is curated. It was interesting watching this as a YouTube video, seeing like the artifacting and being like, oh, I bet the people that watch this at home and streaming will have a lot of that because
Yeah.
it will inherently be beamed to you versus like, did you notice in the transitions as it pushed through, there's so much just like, because it's just blacks.
yeah.
So I'm really excited to see this in theater because it looked metal as fuck. Here, it's going to look even better when it's projected properly.
Yeah. Oh, I
Like
love
that was the shot when it pushed in. It like there was almost a halo of blackness because
yeah.
like the camera couldn't adjust.
God, I love this. This is like
This
my
looks so sick.
it's my I don't know if this is my favorite Robert Eggers movie, but this is like my
Potential.
favorite trailer of his. This is such a good trailer. I love this.
I
shit.
think it's my favorite trailer. 'Cause I think you're right.
It's my favorite Robert Eggers trailer.
I think The Northman is my weird, like maybe deep cut favorite pull. Like I think The Northman might be my favorite movie of his.
Okay.
But I think that Nosferatu brought him the popularity he needed. The Witch is obviously what got him on everyone's radar. But this looks so like the greatest hits.
Well, I love that it's not exactly clear like what the role of the werewolf is. Is he a hero in this? Is he not? And I love that. I love that dichotomy. Is
Yes.
I love the complication of that because it still feels like there's a horror and he's scary versus what Universal Studios might do. Which is,
I'm so glad Focus Features exists to be like owned by Universal, but then Robert Eggers is like, what if we do it this over here?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise will not be appearing in this dark universe.
Oh man, I love the shit out of this trailer. I thought it was awesome, dude.
I can't get over the wardrobe.
This is an awesome ass trailer. I was so happy
Yeah.
with it.
And I love that, and sounds counter, but I love the religious horror elements having sex in them. 'Cause
That's my
there's
point,
so
that this-
much of that
that's
repression.
what I was
There's
going
so
to pull
much,
out. The sexual
Yeah.
discomfort was a big part of
there's
it.
so much that's like sexy, and then you feel weird about it being sexy. Like I think that's so integral to that guilt and that horror. Like that's
Yeah.
Salem was all about like women being just murdered for having like freedom for a moment and then losing it all. Like that, it's
Yeah.
crazy to look back at that and being like mass hysteria led to people being literally massacred in a town, and like so much of that was religious hysteria, so much of that was people just trying to have expression, so much of that was people feeling trapped, and this seems to capture a lot of the sexiness.
That's weirdly a topic that Coy and I have talked about quite a bit lately and behind the scenes here.
Yep.
So,
Sexy repression.
I was like, oh, a lot of things on my mind are happening right here. All right, Dune 3.
Dude, okay, so before we watch this,
this doesn't need a trailer.
It doesn't. I was about to say, before we watch this, this is a trailer I might have avoided if we weren't going to do this right here, and I saved it for last because I think if Dune sticks the landing, this will be maybe the greatest trilogy of all time.
Okay.
Right now, I think How to Train Your Dragon or the Before trilogy are my two tops. I know Lord of the Rings people, I just don't watch it often enough. Like, it's 12 hours. I don't commit.
Yeah.
But Dune
will be his 12 hours.
It might be, that's what I was going to say. Dune might be the thing that makes me go, like, I don't care how long it is, and thus my favorite trilogy.
Okay, let's go.
Bring the runtime, Denny.
All right, I will now do subtitles for you, Coy.
Yes. Thank you.
Wow, look at that film.
Different DP.
I trusted you.
Oh, sorry.
You promised me that you would never take power in your name.
Wow, the
You
different
convinced
languages.
me that this was your home. That I was your home.
Still watching.
What do you know about me?
I know you really want an Oscar.
You have conquered the galaxy. You've destroyed thousands of worlds.
Whoa.
What are your thoughts on that?
Whoa, whoa!
Old Duncan Idaho's back.
I think you're way beyond redemption.
Always interacting with young adults.
Why are you here?
To deliver a peace proposal.
Peace is a good thing. Why should I refuse?
Whoa.
Because it's meant to destroy you.
What a very different
We plan to strike
film.
the core of Imperial power.
You intend to kill Paul?
Regime change.
Idiot.
The
You've just
color.
read death warrants.
This was action-packed.
Yeah.
The future has a way of talking to me. I can't see what's ahead.
How does it feel?
I like there's like different cameras being used, different lenses.
All Atreides.
You have no fear, do you?
I fear dishonor.
You sound like an Atreides.
Sound like an Atreides. They're like flashbacks, yeah. That's how they shot with the film grid.
That's
Greg Frick.
him yelling at Chalamet, the voice soundtrack.
He controls them. Gee. What do you mean forgive me?
For all I've done.
I mean, he's killed a lot of people.
Yeah, but edgelord.
That was so different.
Guys, we have a new X-Men inspired shirt. You see, because Sony, they just announced that physical games are done 2028. No more discs, which if you watch the recent podcast with Coy and I, it's a big bummer. Character select screens. The thing I talked about on the pod was how much I love like the cover art, like especially like back in the day, Nintendo Sega Genesis. Remember that? And that's exactly why we made a rendition of this. The Choose Your Mutant. So much of the X-Men that you love. Pixel art style, designed by our own artist, Alyssa Be Crazy. It's not a download code. It's not getting delisted. It is yours to own. Physical media shirt. Anyway, it's a great way to support the channel. So you can grab one at rejectnationshop.com. Once again, it's rejectnationshop.com. There should be a QR code on screen. Anyway, no continues, bub.
I saw the first, I think, 18 minutes at CinemaCon, and not a lot of that. That was a lot of new stuff. That was crazy.
Wow, dude. That was a hell of a trailer.
That was like you pointed out, like a very different tone, a very different action orientation. The footage I saw was like if Saving Private Ryan was in space. And that ties pretty directly into this being that I guess the whole movie is as action-packed as the opening, because this feels like an action thriller.
It's cool. So I guess like his mentor with Duncan is, don't know the book, but I guess his mentor is here to now stop him.
Yeah, like Duncan died, so I think he's something else. I don't
Really?
remember. Well, yeah, didn't he die in the first one?
I mean, maybe he didn't die. You think this is something else? You don't think this is the actual Duncan?
I want to say because of the show, the Amazon show.
Prophecy?
Yeah, they were getting into like AI and cloning and stuff. I'm wondering if that's a thing.
Oh,
Because Duncan, I think, died.
I forgot about that show.
Yeah, so did the world.
Is it integral?
I don't know, but I'm just thinking of like outside the box. Like that seems to be a dead guy. So like, how does that
Okay.
work?
I don't know, man, but that's this when they talk about like trilogies ending on an epic conclusion, this feels like it's delivering the goods on the epic conclusion.
It's really interesting because the first two have such a different kind of structure. The second one doesn't feel like a lot of people, cite Empire or, a lot of the great second films. But to me, Dune 1 and 2 don't feel like one film split at all, but they do feel like you can watch them independently, but watching them together is like this great sweeping epic. But it almost, to me, feels like the end of the second one is the bigger, like, what's going to happen next than the first to the second.
Yeah.
And so I'm really curious what that feels like for 3, ending a thing that I know keeps going with the kids writing it. Like, I'm really curious how this feels as a conclusion because of the nature of the books.
That's
Do you know what I mean?
a great
It's interesting,
question.
like 3 movies out of something that's 7, and also this one feeling different. Also new DP, which is very prevalent.
Yeah.
Tone's totally different. Same director, but like he's even said it's a different vibe.
This is the Robert Pattinson Zendaya year.
Dude, they're just killing it, man.
They're doing so
They
many
are.
movies together. They're doing so many films.
I love that Robert Pattinson was like, oh, the Batman's going to be a little later. What if I have a generational fucking run?
Yeah.
Like, he just started doing everything awesome. Like, he's always been incredible, but he didn't used to work 5 movies a year.
No.
And it's like, I'm waiting to be Batman. I'm going to do it all.
And Zendaya too. Zendaya has now reached that era where people crap on her a lot because she's in a lot of things. But if you actually watch even the small, what I loved about this show is actually showcase a lot more of the acting range that I feel like Zendaya's very capable of. I know you haven't seen Euphoria, right? She's earned every award.
I've seen Challengers. I've seen a lot of her work, just not Euphoria.
Well, Euphoria to me is like true. I haven't seen the drama yet, but Euphoria to me is really the one that made me go, oh, I get it. Like
The drama's
she's
really interesting because her and Pattinson have such a different relationship than you'd expect.
Okay, yeah. So I think she has the thing is like people only see her usually just in like clips or snippets
Sure.
and they see her face a lot, but she really is a phenomenal actor. And it seems like this woman might be the one where they actually utilize
like,
that
oh,
talent.
Zendaya, we should cast her to be good
I feel like they haven't really utilized what makes her such
Yeah.
a great actor in the Dune movies, and now I think they're actually capitalizing on it.
It's interesting how when you're that gorgeous, you can be seen as just like, let's put him in the movie. And then like the acting that you're capable of isn't what people think of first.
Yeah.
Like I think of Brad Pitt like that. Like Brad
Yeah.
Pitt is so cool and so handsome, but then you see him actually work and you're like, oh, right.
Yeah.
And I feel like Zendaya is like the beautiful young female version of the same, like, I'm just so good, but people don't let me show it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to actually do this movie too, where it's like there's a big time jump. This
Yeah.
time. It's because like that's the thing with Dune Part 1 and 2. There's not a big time jump. We're here, a whole bunch of crazy events have apparently happened, and what it looks like what the trailer's pitching is that we'll see we'll be cutting back and forth between like the relationship downfall with Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet. That's what it looks like. That's why they have that hyper film grain to establish that is the flashback time or the past, and then we're dealing with the present, which is gonna lead to some type of horrible downfall for Paul Atreides.
The pops of color was really visually striking.
Definitely.
You know, the eyes we've had from the beginning, but like the wardrobe and like the detail work, and like I wonder how that associates with the story and the Fremen.
I don't know, but
I wasn't expecting pops in Fremen. You know, like that's a very different image.
But this was beautiful, and it looks like the most exciting. And I know that was it Deakins who did it?
Greg Fraser.
Who's doing this one?
Unknown to me. Who is this one? Because it's stunning. If it was Deakins, I'd know. It ain't.
wasn't Deakins. Deakins has
No.
done other ones with him.
Yeah, Deakins is my favorite DP.
It
and
was
Greg Fraser's
It was
catching up.
Greg Fraser who did the 1 and 2.
Yes.
Are we right about that?
I know it's Greg
I
Fraser.
know they got a different DP for this one. I just don't remember which one.
Dune 3.
Who is the Dune 3?
DP. I'm on. Okay, let's see. Crew.
Linus
Sundgren. He did La La Land, Saltburn, Babylon, which is stunning. American Hustle, First Man.
No Time to Die. Okay. Well, like I think there's something complimentary to be like akin but a different look for your part 3 as well. I feel like it still looks absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. I mean, it definitely has it's weird. It's subtle. Like you can tell it like it looks and feels different.
But I don't mind. It's still the same world.
But I'd rather but it's especially with the time jump though. I think it actually can help complement the piece to have it have a bit of a different flair to the visual appeal.
Also the horrors of it. Like it's gonna have a different feel because of like the intensity. Like those crucifixes.
Looks clean though. Anyway. These are amazing. I'm excited for this movie.
Dude, that looks absolutely insane.
That's a really damn good trailer.
I mean, I think we just saw 3 pieces of like tiny pieces of art that we'll talk about at the end of the year is like the best. We just saw 3 trailers that are all like, well, that's going to change cinema.
Yeah.
And that's a really special thing to be coming up at that point of the year. We're halfway, and I was saying like 2026 is one of the greatest years in movies. And it's been interesting to see things not work that felt like kind of not guaranteed hits, but like Minions opening soft, Mando and Grogu opening that soft. It's been really interesting to see what isn't working to scale. I'm really excited for like the stuff that I don't give a shit how it does.
Yeah.
Like I know this is going to do well, but I also don't care. Like I'm so excited for all of these properties. Like you could tell me, I mean, I'd be upset for Robert Eggers, but you could tell me Werewolf made $5. Be like, I got to see Werewolf.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I'm excited for the season where it's less about like, how's the summer?
Yeah, this December's going to be awesome.
This December's going to be insane.
All right, guys. Well, what was your favorite trailer of the 3? Leave your thoughts down below. Really, the question is, what is your favorite trailer between Werewolf and Dune? Leave your thoughts down below.
There was only 30 seconds of Godzilla jumped in the water.
We didn't. All right. See you guys.